Okay, I'm gonna take just a couple of minutes to reflect on the past 4 years. The league has been fundamentally changed since I was elected president at our Hopkinsville convention in 2019. Little did we know then that COVID would necessitate changes that were difficult, even painful at times, but have become integral to how we communicate and operate. For example, most of us had never heard of a Zoom meeting. Boy, did that change things. And we were forced into levels of communication and technology where up to then we had not trod. Luckily, we were blessed with a terrific group of tech-savvy members who guided, and yes, I'll admit, dragged some of us through transitions that we all understood were necessary for the league to function and grow in today's technological environment. One of our first challenges as COVID hit was the 2020 election. The Kentucky League stepped forward with wise counsel from Selena Stewart from the National League to file suit with the ACLU and NAACP to force Kentucky's Secretary of State, see, I can say this now, he's and governor to allow widespread absentee voting. And it was not long after the filing suit that the governor and Secretary of State agreed to open absentee voting to anyone who feared contracting COVID by in-person voting. So we considered that one a win. But they haven't all been wins. No reflection on the last 4 years can omit our work on redistricting. We lost that battle, but I'm so proud of the fight we put up. When it became clear that despite our best efforts, the legislative redistricting process wasn't going to be open and transparent, we produced our own ungerrymandered, I don't think that's a word, ungerrymandered redistricting maps, fair maps, and of course Susan Weston had a lot to do with those maps that fairly represented Kentucky. We held public forums throughout the state, wrote op-eds, produced YouTube, Facebook webinars, and talked to anyone who would listen to us. Somebody said that today that you only know if you're being effective if you get some pushback. Well, we got pushback, and we got it publicly and in op-eds and in a lot of comments that were made to us that we were being political. But the truth of the matter is, and we kept saying it over and over again, Democrats and Republicans do this, and it's not right when either party does it. I fear this question of drawing fair maps will remain with us until 2030, unless we can pass nationally legislation similar to the For the People Act that will stop state legislators from self-perpetuating their power. So we certainly can work with that. I know there's a court case. We could hope. I guess we could hope. Hope springs eternal. The Kentucky League during the past 4 years has also been the beneficiary of more grant funding than in our previous history, including from the National League, that has enabled us to reach out in new and innovative ways for the restoration of voting rights, fair redistricting maps, much needed federal legislation, and voter registration and participation, particularly in underserved communities. Our increased action, fueled by grants, necessitated another first for us, hiring some administrative bookkeeping support to free up volunteer time so that members could focus more of their time on education and action rather than administrative tasks. Finally, in the last 4 years, and we've talked about this before, we formed the two new state administered leagues that we're so excited about, Northern Kentucky and Southern Kentucky, and it was great hearing from them today. And by formally adopting a Kentucky policy statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion, we signal our commitment to making our membership more representative of the state's entire population. I have a long history of league, as do others in this room, and we bring with us institutional knowledge and talents that are invaluable. But part of the diversity we seek and need includes leadership from people of different ages. One of my favorite authors, Parker Palmer, has written, "When young and old connect, it's like joining the poles of a battery. Together, we can generate energy for political change that an age-segregated organization cuts off." The perspective of our new president, Jennifer Jackson, and our other younger leaders is absolutely necessary for a dynamic and impactful league of the future that operates off the energy of a diverse membership. In closing, I can't help but note that democracy in our beloved country and state faces enormous challenges today. I don't think it's an overstatement that we are in perilous, unprecedented times. The mission of the League of Women Voters has never been more needed, and I'm so proud to have been part of what we've accomplished. None of this would have been possible without the smart, dedicated, hardworking members of the State Board of Directors these past 4 years. During my time as president, I was often the recipient of compliments on the League's work, and I would say absolutely, truly, that the thanks belong to the board members. Indeed, I often felt that I was just hanging on with my fingertips to keep up with them. So I'd like to ask them all, whether here in person or at home, participating virtually, to stand up and be recognized right now. And to those of you virtually, I hope you were standing and taking that applause in too. And while we're recognizing outstanding service, although I thanked them last night, but let me also thank the many people who made this year's annual meeting such an extraordinary one. First, kudos to the whole Louisville League team that worked so hard, both at last night's dinner and today's meeting, on the food and physical arrangements that were without number. And thanks as well to the tech savvy team who made it possible for this to be a virtual meeting as well as in person. Come on, tech team. And yes, I have been blessed to work with all of these amazing people. So let me thank you from the bottom of my heart for the privilege of serving as your president. And now it's with great pleasure and confidence in Kentucky League's future that I turn this meeting over to our new president, Jennifer Jackson.
Thank you all. I am proud to be your president. But first, I want to take a moment also to really express our heartfelt gratitude to Fran and her exceptional leadership. I mean, she's led us through this time of market changes. So, you know, the 100th anniversary of the league, and then immediately following a global pandemic, which totally changed the way that we had to come together. And so, you know, in recent years, you know, you've heard throughout this meeting, the scope and magnitude of what the State League has been doing has really just grown exponentially. And it's happening at a time that we were no longer able to meet in person. So the main way that we were working together was no longer an option. But what happened? Did we all go home and pack it up and work stopped? No, we all showed up, and actually the work just kept growing, and we kept having more impact in our communities. So, you know, under Fran's tenure, we've witnessed numerous firsts: the advent of virtual board meetings, virtual annual meetings, an introduction of a league app, and the thing that we did today, we successfully implemented voting with the app. So, you know, these first, I really want to emphasize that they signal a willingness to say yes. And that act embodies the power of possibility. So, many leagues across the country, you've heard this today, that leagues are struggling with that. But I love that we are showing up, that our leadership is saying yes, and we're trying new things. And yeah, it may not go perfectly, but we learn from it and we move on and we get better. And our ability to adapt in a digital workspace is really, I think, a testament to Fran's wise and open-minded leadership. And by embracing change, that she has helped put us in the forefront of like blazing a trail for leagues across the country. So, they're looking to us to how we're innovating and, how we've been fearlessly exploring new avenues and utilizing the tools at our disposal in different innovative ways. So, Fran, we extend our sincerest thanks for all that you have done to set the League of Women Voters of Kentucky squarely on a successful path for the next century and fearlessly embracing the power of possibility. So let's give Fran a round of applause for her tireless work. And I believe that Jen Fitch has a present as a token of our gratitude. And I can't really see what's happening. So all right, everybody's. Yeah. And then I do want to take a photo and then I will close with I have a few. But let's all take a photo. I'll do it here in the virtual space.
Jen,
we really.
for Fran.
Oh, sorry. What?
Oh, we have a present for Fran.
We have
sorry. I thought that.
she we just want to thank you for your services and a little something to remember us.
My flowers.
Thank you.
Okay, Jen.
All right, so we're gonna do a picture, right?
Yeah, let's do a photo. Actually, my phone disappeared. If you want to hold up your phones with like your League in Action app, that would be awesome. Because we really hit a milestone today.
Might take a while.
You don't have to have your app. You don't have to have your app open, but that's like a bonus points. Okay, you all can manage what you all are doing in the room. I'm gonna do a little Zoom screenshot here if everybody wants to pop on their camera.
3, 2, 1. And then we're gonna do one way up here.
All right.
Fran, turn around.
Actually, so we're gonna do it too. 3, 2, 1. And we'll take actually we got a closed captioning right in front of Violet. We're gonna move that and we're gonna retake it. All right. Wait, I'm gonna set my computer up again. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Thanks you guys for playing along. Okay, did y'all get your photo there at Lang House?
I want Brittany in it, that's fine. I'm posting this on Twitter, so. We voted, yeah.
Yay. All right, are y'all ready for me to continue?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
ready. And
All right.
just a reminder, because I can't, give this up too soon. We do have somebody who has a direction to the board, so just you might want to fit that in at some point.
Oh, yes. Should we do that right now? And then do my closing remarks?
Sure.
Let's do that. So I will recognize let's see, hang on.
Verna
Cahoon for the directions of the board, right?
Yeah.
I happily make this announcement since we're at the end of the day. I asked the board of directors to undertake a review of league positions as listed in With One Voice, and periodically recommend to subsequent annual meetings changes and updates that may be necessary given the length of time that has lapsed since their adoption.
Now, that's just a direction of the board. We don't need a second or whatever. That's just something that Verna is asking the board to look at. And you want to give that to Jen so she has it.
Thank you.
I want to also mention the positions are all in that with one voice, and we had some printed copies here. But if you didn't get a printed copy, it is on our website. You can, you can get it there, and it has all of our, just as Virginia was talking about impact on issues is the national version. That has all the national positions. With One Voice has all of our state positions. So, and it also has the bylaws and our principles and our DEI policy and all of that kind of stuff. So you can get that online. So I'm sorry, Jen, I'll stop interrupting the new president and really turn it over to you this time.
Do we need to take a vote on that?
We already did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this-
All right, great. Well, I just have a few remarks. I know it's been a long day, and thank you everybody for hanging in there, trying new things. And, you know, I just want to really emphasize that, you know, we've been doing great work for a long time, but as you can hear from all of the things that we've learned today, our work is not nearly done. And it's more critical than ever in the face of hyperpartisanship and poor rates of voter participation that we show up. And we need to carry on the legacy of the women and the supporters who have tirelessly worked toward a more perfect democracy for the last 175 years. And we can't do it alone. We need to share our mission and the reasons behind it. You know, perhaps you're here because you believe in empowering voters and defending democracy. Or maybe you're concerned about potential stripping away of agency of healthcare decisions, or maybe the lack of rational discourse in making your community better. Whatever your reason, I know it's got to be significant to be here on a beautiful spring Saturday day. So let us actively share our purpose with our friends and proudly wear our membership as a badge of honor. I love this organization because the League of Women Voters stands up for voters regardless of whether they reside in a blue state, a red state, or a purple state, because everyone deserves to know what's on their ballot. As League volunteers or members, we have a direct connection with the LWVUS and the League of Women Voters of Kentucky, even if we're working primarily at a local level. So understand in your heart what drives you to keep showing up and get excited to share our initiatives with your friends. We are a nonpartisan organization focused on helping voters, just like your friends and your family. We're helping them exercise their right to vote and actively participate in our democracy. So sharing what we do is important, and you actually might inspire others to join us in our quest. We're making it easier than ever for people to take quick, powerful, impactful volunteer action. And I think that you've seen that demonstrated today by all of the resources that are going to be available on League in Action. It's not something we just update today. We are updating it constantly. You will see new content on there every week. And you'll get action alerts for important things like this fall, you'll get election reminders. And anybody can be on Outreach Circle, or sorry, League in Action. I'm not, old habits die hard. Anybody can be on League in Action. It doesn't have to be a League member or a League volunteer. You can invite your friend, and they can get updates, election reminders too. So, you know, it's a way that we want to start utilizing our connections and community. League members are the most connected people that I know, but sometimes we don't talk about what we do in League. We kind of like partition it off, like our book clubs over here. But anybody that knows me, like before the pandemic, the YMCA was my jam. That was like where I was recruiting volunteers, people who were in classes with me all the time. I would take a yoga class with people, Pilates class. Like after a while, you kind of talk to people, and I would start getting them to help register voters at events that we were having. So, but you know, things have changed, and you know, Zoom is a digital tool that we've embraced, and we are going to continue to be using it. And it helps align with our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, it enables people from all over the state to connect. So it has really transformed our state league work. You know, as many of you know, I have stage 4 chronic cancer. So I'm cautious due to kind of lingering COVID in the community. But the ability, like in this space, to include me through these accommodations that we've had today with having a hybrid event has been really important for me, even since the start of the pandemic in 2020. And Zoom has facilitated like the participation of people throughout the pandemic, but also we've noticed that people who maybe don't speak English as their first language are able to participate because we have closed captioning going, or people who may have some hearing difficulties. And so these things help us really help us embrace this multi-generational organization that we are continuing to nurture. And having that diversity makes us stronger as an organization. So, you know, whether you're here for the first time exploring what the league is about, or a longtime member, my hope is that you will also develop friendships with league members from the league, from other leagues, especially leagues in other states, because I promise you, it is such an enriching thing to talk with people in other states who have a similar size league, similar kinds of issues, have solved similar kinds of issues, and get inspiration from them. So just like, you know, Texas is helping out with a blueprint basically of how we're going to roll out this county clerk certification program, like we don't always have to recreate the wheel. People in other leagues are doing the same types of things that we are, and it is super powerful and exciting. You know, Luana, we've been friends since 2020, and I've never met her in person until like yesterday. So it was like super exciting. But, you know, that's the power now, is that the National League, they are providing lots of opportunities with Zooms that are allowing us to meet with other league members, to share ideas, resources, pitfalls, and celebrations. You know, I haven't attended an in-person convention, but I've heard other league members who've gone say like what a great experience it is, and how the energy and exchange of ideas is so inspirational. But right now in our digital age, we live in this amazing time where you can tap into that energy basically any day of the year. And, you know, I really think that the beauty of the league lies in its powerful community members who bring diverse life experiences and perspectives to the work. So, you know, whether someone is a member or they're a volunteer, we're here to help voters and make democracy thrive, and everyone is valuable. So whether you have rich legislative experience, innovative ideas, social media savvy, or people skills, like we all bring something to the table. And as we've heard, the political landscape is changing rapidly. You know, we have recent artificial intelligence advances. We're challenged to work smarter and outpace disinformation campaigns. And so bringing together people's skills as a unified whole is what's going to be vital to our success in that basically race for information. So we've adapted in the past. We will continue to adapt. And some of these tools that we're using are ways that we are adapting to work in this space today. And it's really the same, a variation of the same thing we've always done. You know, when I think of League, I think of like personal relationships and connection. And the app is really just another way to do it and make it easier for people to plug in. So I really want to emphasize that digital transformation is not a singular event. It's not like you do it and you're done. The digital world is constantly evolving, and our organization has to evolve to stay relevant and effective. And I'm thrilled about the upcoming shift for a unified membership platform from National, and the possibilities that that is going to bring. It's going to free us from a lot of administrative burdens and allowing our dedicated longtime volunteers to focus their attention more fully on the mission, which is, I think, what everybody wants to do. So I'm also super excited, as Luana mentioned, to announce that we were going to be working with Luana and National to offer a multi-day sort of hands-on training to build out our engagement. So stay tuned. And we are going to be developing this powerful training and state-specific spaces to brainstorm and develop strategies, which is super exciting. So remember, the power to change the world lies within each of us, and it just requires taking action. So let's use the power to create a future where voting rights are fiercely protected, where every voice is cherished, and where democracy shines as a beacon of hope for generations to come. Thank you, and let's just keep moving forward together, united by our unwavering dedication to justice, equality, and the incredible power of the ballot. So, is there anything else on our agenda? Shall we adjourn?